Hey guys, Dan here, along with Joe. It's a bird, it's a plane, it is Superman. The Adventures now from 52, I think.
Something like that.
The Adventures of Superman TV show is what we're going to start with. And let's see, when was the first episode? Here's what's interesting about this show, which I didn't realize.
Yeah.
So this is from September of 1952.
Early.
This wasn't actually on a network.
Oh.
This was syndicated.
Oh.
Believe it or not.
Okay.
So there's no specific start date because, of course, syndication, they just farm it out to the networks. They decide to air it whenever in the week they feel like it.
Okay.
But generally, it's the third week of September 1952 is when this aired. But I thought it was a network because it was a popular show.
Yeah.
So look, Joe and I are going through all of the motion picture and visual media, not the comic books, but the TV shows, the movies of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
We've done the little bit of the theatrical shorts. Now we sort of skipped over the theatrical serials because we did the live action ones because we did that. We never really reviewed it, but we watched them.
For film fanatics.
I think we reviewed the whole thing once we were done.
I think so.
But we didn't review episode by episode. But that was on our old show years and years ago.
He fought the Spider-Woman. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, he put a record back together by doing this.
But,
it was
perfectly.
cool.
With his lasers. You hated
was
that
good.
part.
It was
at
stupid.
the very end, yeah.
That was like the last
Thing you had
5
to
minutes
do.
of the whole
Have
thing.
to save the record.
So we decided
the
to
one
sort of,
time he called bull on it.
it was so stupid. We decided to skip over that and then get right to then the 50s, which we've never seen.
No.
I have this whole collection and we've never seen it.
Credits classic.
And this is from 52 to I guess 56. But famously, this George Reeves that played Superman, died very shortly after this this show ended. The movie Hollywoodland with Ben Affleck sort of is about that, which I'll have to see one of these days.
I've heard of it.
But this was the first of the TV series. Many have followed. And so we watched the first episode.
Yeah.
Which is just called Superman on Earth.
Eventually.
Well, we get into a problem here because this is not not that great.
No, unfortunately.
So George Reeves, like I said, played Superman. Your Lois Lane for this one. Now the Lois Lane that we saw in the serials does we like her, but she comes in later.
Yeah.
With her hat. Oh, I thought you said hack.
I said hat.
Yes, the hat. We call her we call her the hat.
With a giant hat. So. They're bigger than her head.
We do call her the hat. But so
She's very old hat.
New hat at the time.
Oh yes.
But so Noelle Neal, she took over for the role eventually. But in the first season, that's Noelle Neal again. I'm going to look on here. This Phyllis Coates.
Okay.
Phyllis Coates was her name, and she's okay.
She's all right, yeah.
We didn't really see her too much in this first
last
episode.
5 minutes, Yeah. When
the first
becomes a show.
This is really
rough.
the well, yes.
I'm sorry,
but this
spoilers.
is really the like the origin and the story. So listen, it is conceivable
Sure.
that in 1952,
Sure.
people didn't maybe know the Superman story.
Not as well known as
Right?
it is now. It's not everywhere, not over the
70
internet.
years after the fact, we know. Batman, we know. Spider-Man, we know.
You're right.
They keep giving us origin stories of them too.
That is true.
In 1952, it is quite possible
That maybe they needed an origin
maybe
episode.
they didn't know.
However,
so they give us this origin of about 15 minutes of the 26-minute runtime. Maybe not quite that long, but it's long.
It feels long.
And it's the same one that we got in the Russell Crowe movie years ago.
It's the same
Man of
one
Steel.
we get in pretty much all the renditions.
Yeah, so it's faithful.
basic.
It's faithful to the books, I guess, and you'll get this.
Minor issues.
But you had some minor issues specifically with the choosing of putting the baby in.
There was one little line that did kind of bother me, which, I mean, if people know the old comics, correct me if I'm wrong, but in every rendition that I know of, in the comics or otherwise, Jor-El was always like, we're making this pod to save my son, next generation wife's on board with that. His first thought in this is, wife, you can go. And then she's like, well, wait, what about our baby? Oh, okay, fine. And
that doesn't seem in line with some of the other stories we know.
The character, the morale, and it just seems like basic trope of story, like, we're save our kid. He just does, he's like, okay, fine. Like, he has no real interest in saving his baby, which is very odd, little messed
Seems
up.
like he almost forgot that he existed.
No, he was like, fine, I guess.
What about the baby? Oh,
like she couldn't even fit there. So what was he thinking?
I know. All they had was the model left.
Sadly, I did kind of like the part on Krypton, or Krypton, as some pronounce it.
One guy said Krypton. I said, what?
I did like that. That was kind of a sci-fi thing. I appreciated the fact they were doing the origin. However,
did you like the round table though on Krypton of the
council, and
the
they
council,
laugh at him? That's
yeah.
pretty classic. There's some good models exploding.
Mm-hmm.
There's some good little, with the prop of the rocket. Like, it's fine. It's just that the problem is, they could have maybe learned from the shorts that, you could really summarize who Superman is really in just like 30 seconds and then get to the action.
Well, I guess they figured, since this is the first episode of a long-running potentially series, I guess.
Okay,
it makes sense, sort of, to
flesh it out.
Which,
like I said, I appreciate that, but as a TV guy, you know that doing a pilot to get the show off the ground, you really want to hook them in with something exciting.
Well, it's funny you mention that. I have some info.
Oh, please. Okay.
As I do.
Okay.
So here's the deal. So this actually started in 51.
Okay.
They had said, okay, we're going to do this movie, Superman and the Mole Man, which is on this DVD. We'd actually discussed watching that, but we went with the first episode.
Okay.
But we could maybe at some point watch the Superman and the Mole Man movie.
I'm curious.
It's only 58 minutes, so it's like a short movie. But it's with these actors and actresses as the people. So
did that come up before or after?
Came up before. They aired it in 51.
Okay.
And it basically was a pilot for this show, which is weird because in the movie, I assume he's already Superman and fighting people. So it's sort of weird to have that be the first thing as a quote-unquote pilot, but maybe the first episode of this was his origin story.
The movie did well. I'm like, okay, let's explain who he is now.
I guess so.
That's a little
which is a little weird.
Okay.
But basically, no network wanted it. So it remained sort of in flux. Are we even going to do this show? And then back in the 50s, it was the sponsorships. If you had somebody to sponsor your show, then they paid for it and you aired it. And then they had only your commercials on the show. I Love Lucy did it with cigarettes.
Lucille Ball, Star Trek.
Yep.
Yeah.
Star Trek again, actually. But this was Kellogg's.
Oh.
Who's still around, of course, making the cornflakes and all of this.
Commercials with Superman promoted.
And commercials with, if you're strong, you'll get your cornflakes.
You'll be strongly Superman.
Right. Absolutely.
Classic.
So they decided, okay, you know what, we'll step up and sponsor your show.
It's kind of cool.
So you can make it. But still no network wanted it, so they did the syndication.
Why didn't any network want it?
It's weird, I don't know.
Superman.
And at the time, there were 4 networks.
You know what?
Because you had Dumont as well.
I think I might know. Okay.
Too violent.
This might be, not necessarily. This might be a little early for this, but I do know that in terms of comic books and superheroes specifically, after the war was over, comic books for superheroes started to do very badly.
Really?
They became less popular. The 50s was more about
is that?
Sci-fi, westerns, because superheroes just weren't in vogue, because for a long time they could use them to fight Nazis, and they just... and the 50s...
Yeah, Wonder Woman's big on fighting the Nazis.
The 50s was kind of a rougher time. You had a lot more different types of comics, horror, sci-fi stuff.
Right.
And it wasn't until Stan Lee came along with his characters that comic superheroes got boosted again. So actually, that might be it.
So it's interesting, actually, this ran for so long.
Maybe.
But that is one nice thing about syndication, because, as if you're on a network, you are beholden to, okay, what are the ratings for this show for this network? But in syndication, as long as the sponsor was seeing a good enough return on their investment, they'll keep producing it.
Even if the ratings weren't so great.
Even if the ratings were so hot, if they saw an uptick in their cornflakes or whatever it was, that was good enough for them. So I guess maybe that's what helped it stay on for so long.
That's pretty cool.
But they also actually only filmed the first 2 years in black and white. The rest, they filmed in color. Before color TVs even were a thing. So
they were getting ready.
A little ahead of their time there. But anyway, they also kept costs low, and we'll see this more in later episodes.
Did they?
But, well, we'll see some of it in this episode, but listen to how far they went to keep the cost low. They had Lois's and Clark Kent's offices, same office, they just took different pictures off the walls.
Nice.
In terms of filming the scenes in the Chief's office, Chief Perry White, they filmed the entire season at once. 1 week or whatever, they just said, "All right, these are all the Perry White
scenes for each episode,
for the whole episode."
All right.
So they only had that actor there for a week or whatever.
Low budget filmmaking at its finest.
Listen, these are some of the tricks of the trade back in the 50s to cut your costs.
That's pretty good.
So we didn't see it too much in this episode because they were barely at the Daily Planet.
True,
but we'll see it a little more, I think, in other episodes.
That's pretty cool. It did it like a day or something.
Isn't that weird? And then. a couple other things. So they got the radio program was popular though.
Oh, okay.
And so they got the voiceover guy on the narrator on the radio show to do the narration here.
I like the narrator.
He does the intro, and then he also sets the scene, when things are need to be stated by the narrator because they don't have the money to show them, essentially, I guess.
Or they'll... okay, I'll get there.
Or he'll tell you exactly what we just saw. We see that a couple times as well.
That was pretty
But
bad.
so they got the main guy that people were used to hearing on the radio. So,
that's cool.
Look.
Some love in there.
This was obviously early TV.
Yeah.
There's worse.
Sure.
But this was not great,
Well...
if we're going to be honest.
Well, I know you didn't even comment about, like...
Well, yeah, I guess we still have to do more of the plot. So they leave Krypton.
They leave Krypton. He sends the baby off. We know the story of Superman, but... Okay.
And then Ma and Pa find him.
But that was a part you didn't like, Pa Kent, because he's like... He doesn't know it's a baby. He goes and it's on fire. He throws dirt
and then he
into
kicks
the hole.
dirt into the hole of the rocket ship, even though he knows there's a baby in there. Wait, hold on.
How did he know?
I guess the crying, maybe.
Maybe.
But you could hear the crying over the explosion. I don't know. Maybe the explosion part was done.
But they weren't the best.
They were not Kevin Costner and Diane Lane for sure.
Well,
God
also,
bless them.
some of the drama doesn't work very well. Like, I hated
The
that
12-year-old Clark when he's like, why am I different, Mommy?
Let me tell you, and then she literally tells him what happened.
Yeah.
What we saw, and then the narrator also.
And then the narrator tells us again.
But when he found the rock, and she recounted, and then the years went by. That was.
I wonder. Hold on. We're going to go back to, this is 1952 TV. I wonder.
You're wondering.
Who do you think this show was for? Wasn't for adults.
True.
I betcha the repetition is because this show was going to be mainly watched by like 8 to 14, 15-year-olds.
You're probably right about that.
Or maybe even younger.
But
so it could be,
look,
because think about it. If it's syndicated, that means it's not in prime time, which means it probably aired like 5 p.m. on a Saturday or something.
All right. Damn.
So
look,
I'll give it.
Look, here's the
tell
thing.
me.
I think we have learned to give kids more credit.
We have.
But
we know that now.
So I'm okay with this. I'm not really okay with it, but okay. Ma Kent explains what happened in the previous scene to the kid.
I'm not sure if we need.
But then the narrator also
we don't need it all the time.
That was a bit much. Did you like how they did the numbers?
Well, because it's not that. Yeah, that was stupid. Oh my God, the dates. The dates were flying at us 3 years at a time.
That was not very well done. Like,
no, but
even just like a slide.
Maybe they were proud of themselves that they were able to figure that out how to do it.
We were holding on a stick and like flying it through the backdrop.
That part was bad.
Well, and then Pa Kent. He has a heart attack.
Bad heart attack. Yeah.
He has a badly acted heart attack.
And the doctor comes in and says, "I'm so sorry. Goodbye."
Doctor comes into another room, says to the
You
mom,
hated this part.
This was terrible. I'm so
hated it.
What happened? Sorry.
She said, is he okay?
I'm gonna charge you for this one.
Is he okay? And the doctor says,
well, then
I'm
why
so
did we?
sorry.
I could probably figure that out. Like,
and then he leaves.
Horrible. Like, I'm sorry.
I think that's what doctors did back in the day. They were very unfeeling. I kind of think that's what happened, but you disagree. You thought it was bad.
Okay, maybe that wasn't bad, but the fact that
I don't think he charged them.
Good. He doesn't charge.
So we learned. I think he gave that to him on the house.
50 is bedside manner.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, accurate.
Okay.
After this, Clark immediately leaves his mom. Just leaves her completely.
Yeah, it was like.
Pretty much the next day.
It was pretty much the next day. I think he said goodbye, mother,
which is like kind of odd.
She put him on a train,
and then she's all like, "Okay, you got to be Superman. I get it."
Why couldn't he just fly to Metropolis?
Well, he has to be incognito.
Oh, got it.
And he gets to Metropolis, and then finally it starts to get a little interesting.
He wants to get a job with the Daily Planet.
He sneaks into the window on the ledge, and Perry doesn't really care that he's there. He's not really listening to him. Dirigibles having an issue. Guys hanging there, and Lois is like, "I'll get there."
Lois and Jimmy Olsen come in.
And
they decided to do the speed limit.
They decided to cut.
That's your other favorite part.
But my favorite scene.
It's literally a 12-second scene. They're driving, and she says, "Can't your speed up?"
No, I don't want to go over 35. I don't want to get a ticket.
Oh,
you're right.
You're right.
Gotta go the speed limit so that it's
It's for kids. This show must be for kids.
I know, but it's like, okay, she's Lois Lane. She's not gonna go the speed limit to get the story.
Yeah.
So
this woman 10 years earlier snuck into a robot behind. Yeah, you're right.
So that's
this character's very unfleshed out.
Unfleshed out, and also once again the excitement factor. Oh man, they're bringing him in. But I mean,
We
I
gotta
get
go to the speed
it's
limit.
clearly so they're gonna miss Superman getting it. I get it.
Vin Diesel would blow his brains out if he saw that scene.
I'd take my life 134 mile at a time. You know that. What if they did Fast and Furious just where they went the speed limit the whole time?
The slow and the legal, they'd call it.
There was some kind. I think somebody came
dear.
up with a parody idea, old friend of like Fast and the Furious, but they're just in a parking lot back.
Yeah,
there.
sure.
Just like that's. Oh man, gotta get there. That'd be kind of funny, but they're stuck.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh my
that
God.
part.
What a disaster.
But to be fair, it does the last like 3 minutes when they do.
How about when the guy's actually hanging from the blimp?
Yeah, when he's hanging from the
Bad
blimp,
CGI.
bad
we
blue
call
screen,
it CGI, but yeah, blue screen, green
bad
screen.
dirigible.
Yeah.
He falls, becomes a little dummy. Superman catches him. Look,
That didn't look very good.
it didn't look good, but it's
how
more
are they
exciting
supposed to
than
do it? It's 52.
That's the thing though.
Yeah.
I don't care about that because you know something. Cheesy as it was more creative and interesting than most of the rest of the episode because he was Superman doing something. And you know what? If that had been a little sooner, it would have been a little better.
I agree. They listen. Maybe here's what they would do in today's day and age. If they did this, they'd make the first one an hour.
Yeah.
So you could do the first 15 minutes
Flesh out
of
the
the
characters
character,
more.
and then you do the B story. After that for the rest of the time. But
you
you're
know-
right. For the first episode, 26 minutes, they did spend about 14, 15 minutes in
Dragged
Krypton,
a
yeah.
little for me.
Krypton and the mom pop
And the farm.
Yeah.
And I get it, but they could have sped it up a little.
Correct.
Also, do you know what I confess? My biggest issue with this is so far?
Tell me.
I know it's only the pilot,
Okay.
and this is like a legendary show, but so far,
You're not impressed
this
with the actor.
The Superman doesn't really seem to have much. Maybe it's the first one.
Doesn't
not
have a
much
ton of charisma.
He doesn't. He's kind of. He seemed very aloof, and he's just kind of there. I don't know.
I'm curious to see where
direction gets better.
where the character goes because
He does get
we've
popular.
seen
I know he does.
we've seen the serials, the live action serials, and the animated serials.
But those Supermen
and
are
those
both
characters are both
they
a
have much
lot
more
better
pop,
than
and
this.
they're better, more dynamic
Yeah.
and fleshed out. And I'm surprised.
I agree.
The serial we watched was great.
He was great, and that was I forget the actor that played
Oh,
him,
okay.
but yeah, he was very good. The guy the guy doing the voice for the animated serial, really good. I agree. This guy
Doesn't have quite the charisma yet.
yeah, but like you said,
He looks like him.
legendary.
I mean, I know
He does
people
look like him.
People do like him.
Although, as you pointed out, he looks a bit old when he's supposed to be 25 or whatever.
I mean,
He
45.
looks like he's about 40 if he's a day.
Like,
I don't know how old he was. I would have to look that up, but
he doesn't look 25.
No.
A
So what else? What else could we say about this?
lot.
A couple of positives.
Couple positives.
Like you said, it
Perry
does.
White's good.
Perry White's good. I think it definitely does pick up when he gets to
Metropolis.
the Metropolis, Daily Planet, all that.
I do like the Krypton stuff. It's just maybe we spend a little too much time.
I
there.
agree. I think they could have maybe made that 5 minutes instead of 12 or
whatever
14,
it was.
however
But
long
I
it
like
was.
that they did that.
Yeah.
There was a little more of a futuristic sci-fi element to it. I can't say the effects are good, but they're fun.
Yeah, I think the effects are not great. The effects, to bring up the serial, the effects were better in the serial.
Yeah, that's actually one thing I bring.
That live action serial. Remember, they made him a cartoon to fly.
I'm like,
that
better.
was actually pretty good.
But I mean, TV budget's probably smaller.
TV budget, I would say, is probably smaller, especially from what we've learned about this budget.
Honestly, the other positives I can think of. I did like Jor-El, even though he.
Yeah, he was good. He looked like Will Ferrell.
He did look like that. Make a good parody, even though he didn't care about his baby and forgot about him.
No, that was weird.
But I liked the actor.
Yeah, I thought he was fine. And Lois Lane was okay. They didn't really give her anything to do except yell about the speed limit.
Olsen was good.
Olsen was fine.
But that's the thing. You said positives. I'm like,
I know there's not many.
Like it looks like the.
Well, look,
the
positives are
costumes are good.
It's a Superman show
that has.
They're setting the template. We got it. Pilots are hard.
Pilots are tough.
But I've definitely seen
better,
way better than these. Yeah, I mean, this isn't a super high grade for me. The ending part where he just kind of like looks at the camera.
Oh no, it's what though that does have a good stinger because he's like, well, maybe I'm Superman.
Oh yeah, and then he looks at us.
So they did
maybe
it.
I am.
So that was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was all right. He changed in the closet.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of little things in there. It's funny to kind of riff on.
Yeah, I think it's more interesting as a historical
thing, yeah.
item of note than as a pleasurable television program to watch.
I feel like there's probably better episodes in there.
Yeah, I'm curious to where you're going to go with your grade on this. For me, I will give it the slight positive because it's at least it is a pilot episode. We're getting on to something. And I do admit this is probably more for kids at the time.
Sure.
And again, maybe the character and his origins were not that well established at that point or well known.
Sure.
So let's throw it in. This for me is a B-.
Well, I'm a little below you, Dan. C+ for me.
I was debating between the two. I'll give it that slight edge.
It has some cool things, but there's too many slow parts. There's some parts that are just not well acted. And look, I like some bad effects, but that blue screen,
it was horrible.
The dummy I don't mind because what are you gonna do?
Right,
but like him hanging, that was bad.
Wasn't good.
That was bad.
Yeah. Well, and I'm interested to see if
it gets better.
Well, yeah.
Well, there's that famous scene where he breaks through the wall in one episode.
Yeah,
that's like a famous.
That's a famous one, but who knows? That could be season 5 or something.
When they can break.
They actually have
the.
Well, look, they must have had some budget going forward if they started filming in color in season 3.
Those Kellogg's, man,
because that was not typical of the day for sure.
Yeah.
So maybe this is just
a rough start.
A rough start. We'll find out more, but we won't get to that for a little while because we're going to cycle through.
I guess so.
We're going to watch Lois and Clark. We're going to watch Smallville. We're going to watch...
What do you think the next thing would actually be, probably?
Well, if we don't do the movies...
Which we'll do.
I think it might be Lois and Clark.
Did he have any cartoons in, the 70s?
Oh, you know what? The Super Friends. Wasn't that on?
That's technically Justice League. Though.
Oh, that's Justice League, not Superman. Okay.
But I mean, if you want to lump it in there, I've never actually seen an episode.
I think maybe there was some kind of animated in the 60s or 70s we can look at.
Maybe.
We'll figure it out. But I think the next main TV show is Lois and Clark. Don't you think? From what you can remember. I mean, the 80s was all about the movies.
Yeah.
For Superman.
I don't know if anything in between.
Yeah. I don't either. Huh? But we'll figure it out. Thank you for watching, Joe. Pleasure talking Superman as always.
Thank you.
And we'll see everybody next time. Bye.
Superman on Saturday.